The picture you see in front of you is a picture of Jeff Sessions in a victory salute. And I chose this picture because he was just approved out of the Senate Judiciary Committee for his nomination of Attorney General. And this is a shame. It's not a shame because he's a racist. It's not a shame because he doesn't believe in protecting the rights of the American citizens. It's a shame because this guy lied to the faces of the Senate Judiciary Committee, and giving Al Franken, the senator from Minnesota, credit, he broke this guy down. Not only did he break down his testimony, but Senator Lion Ted Cruz, after Mr. Franken had questioned Jefferson Beauregard Sessions and started pointing out obvious falsehoods in the initial confirmation hearing, Lion Ted jumped in there and basically tried to misrepresent everything to do with Jefferson Beauregard Sessions' record regarding civil rights and discrimination. And then Mr. Cruz went on to demean Senator Franken. Well, in this video, which will show the testimony, actually statements of Senator Whitehouse from Rhode Island, I believe it is, and Senator Franken, Senator Franklin cut Jefferson Beauregard Sessions a new asshole, and he also cut Senator Ted Cruz's cut him a new asshole as well, I'll say. And Senator John Cornyn, who's also of Texas, tried to jump in and stop Senator Franken from getting all up and down Ted Cruz's ass, but Al Franken was able to continue, principally because Ted Cruz wasn't even at the meeting until it came time basically to vote. So I'm going to leave a link for the hearing itself, but I also want to play for you a little bit of the testimony from, or comments from Senator Franken. Okay, this is just a small clip of Senator Franken's statement, and again, I'm going to leave the link if you want to go through the entire clip from both White House and Franken, but Franken ate him up.
Thank you, Chairman Grassley, for the opportunity to speak, and I'd like to maybe borrow a minute or two of his time if I run over the 22 minutes. I join my Democratic colleagues in expressing my strong opposition to Senator Sessions' nomination. In my view, it's important that every member of this committee fully understands Senator Sessions' views on matters that he stands to influence as Attorney General. So once he was nominated, I spent a good deal of time reviewing the information he submitted, his questionnaire, his supporting documents and materials, and the record of his previous confirmation hearing before the committee back in 1986. I know Senator Sessions. We served together since I joined this body and the committee back in 2009. And while I enjoy a good relationship with him and I respect him as a colleague, Senator Sessions and I have very different views about most of the issues that come before this committee, particularly on matters of equal justice. So when I started reviewing his materials, I paid special attention to how he described his work on civil rights. And I noticed some discrepancies in the way he had described his involvement in civil rights cases filed during his time as a U.S. attorney. I asked Senator Sessions about these discrepancies during his hearing. I asked him about his claim that he had filed 20 or 30 desegregation cases, a claim he made in a 2009 interview with the National Review. In response, Senator Sessions said, quote, "The records do not show that there were 20 or 30 actually filed cases." He said of the claim, quote, "The record does not justify it." I then moved on to question him about 4 cases that he listed on his questionnaire, which asked him to list the, quote, 10 most significant litigated matters he personally handled. Among those 10 cases that he listed on his questionnaire were 3 voting rights cases and a desegregation case. Now that surprised me, and that's because I know Senator Sessions and I know his record on voting rights. He's no champion of voting rights. He called the Voting Rights Act intrusive and complained about states with a history of discrimination being subject to preclearance. But here he seemed to be trumpeting his personal involvement in 3 voting rights cases and 1 school desegregation case. And I guess it just seemed to me that given his previous experience before this committee, and given the concern the civil rights advocates had expressed about his nomination, that perhaps Senator Sessions or the transition team was attempting to revise some of that history and to recast him as a civil rights champion. And as it turns out, that's exactly what was going on.
All right, I gave you that little bit. Now, if you want to see the rest of it, there's a link that I'm going to include so that you can see the whole hearing for himself. But basically, this committee, along party lines, cleared Jeff Sessions to get the full vote of the Senate in order for the Attorney General position. That's after it was clearly proven that Jeff Sessions lied about his record to the committee. He lied. And then he wouldn't come clean on his position on dealing with President Trump in matters that had to do with Trump violating the various emolumation clauses and other interest clauses, conflict of interest clauses, as far as his position is concerned. So this is what we've come down to. As far as the Republicans are concerned, if it's one of their buddies, they don't give a shit. They're going to pass or clear that person no matter if the person is an absolute bold-faced liar and, in my opinion, basically a racist. And it's just like Republicans to attempt to rewrite history and put it out there as truth. But for those of us who do our own research, that ain't gonna happen. Unfortunately, there are not enough of us out there that do our own research so that we are informed, so that we know exactly what's going on. But hopefully that will change.